Sometimes I laugh when I'm frustrated.
Then out of nowhere, the rocket launched into the air.
The rocket did get into the air.
I've never seen anything fly so high.
And then crashed into a kite.
Look out! Look out!
And then the pond.
I'll never forget that day.
I'll never forget that day, even if I tried.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This week, we're kicking off the weekend a little early. It's time to let freedom rumble with the team at Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. Join the excitement Thursday night for a patriotic-themed bike night with live music from the Crosstown Band. The Hog Club firing up the grill with free burgers and dogs. The Harley's Angels serving up free drinks and sparklers for your kids. Thursday night at Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. It's the Let Freedom Rumble Bike Night. Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. Let's ride.
Hi, this is Thane Taylor from the Sleep Center. For over 20 years now, the Sleep Center has been known as Pensacola's mattress experts. But did you know that the Sleep Center is also Pensacola's adjustable bed, futon, cabinet bed, and beanbag experts? The Sleep Center opened in Pensacola in 1995 with the main goal of being the area's one-stop shop for all your bedding needs. Since then, we have become Pensacola's oldest and largest bedding superstore and have the highest Google rating of any store on the Gulf Coast. So if you want better sleep without all the fuss, come to the Sleep Center and leave the rest to us.
Hey everyone, let's all stop what we're doing and take a moment. You see? Every moment can be kind of special. But they can be loud moments, goofy moments, dorky moments, it doesn't matter. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 945. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
All sports, all the time. ESPN Pensacola, 94.5 WYCT Pensacola.
The following has been produced by Talk Football LLC. Former Florida Gators quarterback, NFL quarterback, and NFL head coach. Coach K. Stevenson has a resume second to none, and now he's sharing his insider information with you. Talk Football with Coach K starts right now on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT and streaming on our website, ESPNpensacola.com. Welcome into Talk Football with Coach K. I'm Jordan Glass, joined alongside me as always, Coach K, and we're ready to talk some football here on this Wednesday afternoon, and want to dive right into it, Coach. Looks like we do have word from both college and NCAA. They're going to start working together to try to improve safety measures for the game, and this is a situation where we've seen a kind of an uptick, Coach, in players, whether it's announcing their retirement at the NFL level, like with a Rob Gronkowski, because of injuries and things like that. This shortens their career a lot shorter than what they normally would have had inside the league. And then also, Coach, we had a Tennessee player. Obviously, that was health issues and something medical, but we have had some players in the past have to step down and leave the game of football altogether because of injuries sustained, whether it's at the high school or the college level. And, Coach, this is something to where now the NFL and the NCAA have announced that they are going to partner up and team up together to help bring improvements to the safety levels of both sports, or both levels of the same sport.
Yeah, and it's certainly something they've been cognizant of for quite a while, Jordan, and I think they've been doing quite a bit. We've had any number of rules changes that to improve the safety, and even to the extent that it's drastically altered the course of the game. But I think you're going to see some other drastic moves too. The AAF, which we talked about, and doing away with that. There's a good reason for that. When you've got guys taking off and running 60 yards full speed to get downfield, and you've got somebody down there waiting to block them, you're gonna invite huge collisions.
Right.
Huge collisions. And you say, well, if a back takes off and he runs for 60 yards down the field, or a receiver, but usually that's somebody chasing him or they get hit from the side. It's not like the full speed head-to-head in many cases blocker versus potential tackler. So there's some reasoning for that. I can see it. I think you're going to see some changes there. That would be my guess. Be one of the first. And I don't know how much further they can go on some of it. They've got them playing flag football anyway. You can't go too much further. But certainly things like that you could be aware of. I think on the punt return, I think they could go to the Canadian rule, which would help the safety there. You can't get anybody within that 3-yard circle of the receiver down there, the punt returner, and he's got at least a chance to catch it and make a move or protect himself before he gets hit. Now, I think they should leave the fair catch, and also Canada, you can't fair catch, but you have to try to do something with it. But anyway, they could combine the two. Anyway, there are a number of things we can talk about later. It's going to be, you are right. Your premise that there's going to be some action taken here, I think, is right, and we'll just see what happens over the next couple of years.
Now, Coach, you take a look at it. Something we talked about a few weeks back was it was more so what we talked about with the kicker and how eliminating the kicker is something that it's not a necessary position for college football or for the NFL at all. And maybe taking away the kickoff as part of that, and part of the rule change for that could be just starting the ball to 25-yard line or something along those lines. Coach, do you think that could be a move here we see to help improve safety measures for both the NFL and college football?
Well, it could be. Yeah, that's one thing we just maybe didn't mention it directly, but what they did in the AAF, put the ball on the 25. Now, people want to see returns, so they're not going to take the punt return out of the game. There is if you want to get the kicker out of the game, totally, you could get him out of the game and still have a return. You could just, what do you do after a safety? What do teams do after a safety?
It's a free punt kickoff.
Yeah, but they put the punter in there. They don't put the kicker in there to do it. They put the punter in there to do it. So they could use a punter. You got to have a punter because of the field position parts of the ball game that are so important. But you don't necessarily have to have. There are ways you could play the game without a kicker, and people probably wouldn't even notice. But anyway, I don't want to be the death nail for kickers. I'm not. I still think there's a place for a long field goal, but I don't think there's. You get down on the 3-yard line, and that's like the extra point. I mean, they had to move it back. Who cares about an extra point? You score a touchdown, you're going for an extra point on the 2-yard line. You might as well go to the refrigerator and get a sandwich or whatever you're going to do. because that's a non-interesting piece of the game. So that changed that. Now, if you're trying to kick a 50-yard field goal, that's a little different. But anyway, food for thought.
All right, Coach, so let's move on now to another headline here. Going back to Daniel Jones, the quarterback that was drafted by the Giants a couple of months ago, and you look at it, he's been really impressive so far through training camp, and has really kind of brought on the attaboys from his teammates, especially with the media. Saquon Barkley being a big supporter of Daniel Jones, says people are talking right now negatively about him, but they won't be doing that after he brings home a couple of Super Bowls for the Giants once he takes over as the starting quarterback. Coach, Daniel Jones has come out now. He said, look, I get that there's media attention that comes with New York. I get that there's fan scrutiny that comes with playing in a New York franchise when it comes to sports. But he said he can handle the booze. He's not going to be bothered with it. And, Coach, it's something to say as a rookie right now in training camp when maybe, you might have a few fans that are out there watching an open practice, and they may boo if you make a bad throw. But, Coach, on a Sunday when you're the starting quarterback, you throw an interception against the Philadelphia Eagles or the Dallas Cowboys, and you've got 75,000 fans booing you. You've got the New York Times, with you on the front page with a derogatory headline with your picture. Coach, that's a little bit different of an animal.
Yeah, it is. It's regrettable, too, because most of the people that you just described reactions from don't know whether the football is pumped up or stuffed. They really could not tell you anything about the game. All they know is surface. They're surface hunting on everything. So if you could just get that across to the players, don't pay any attention to the press. Don't pay any attention to the fans. If you do, you'll be up there with them in the stands rather than on the field. So don't pay any attention to them. I think it's ridiculous.
All right, Coach, and it looks like Big Ben here is excited about the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers with the offensive pieces they have in place. Coach, you take a look at this team, and they're a team that went through a lot of turmoil last year with the Le'Veon Bell situation, and then right after that, the Antonio Brown situation. Coach, you look at this team, and they need some positivity injected into this. Is there reason for Big Ben to be excited about the future of the Steelers offense, or is this, Coach, just him trying to be that leader and that cheerleader and inject a little enthusiasm into this locker room?
I tend to lean toward the latter there. I really do. I don't know how he's still got some good material there. There's no doubt about that. But I think he's probably trying to get people up and put some confidence in the football team, because really all they've heard is how they've lost the running back, the receiver, and how much this is going to hurt their football team. They see all that. You just gotta get them ready to overcome it. It's like I just talked about a minute ago. Just go do what you got to do and don't pay any attention to what's being said.
All right, Coach. Sports Illustrated has started a list here where they are going division by division inside the NFL, and they're breaking them down team by team. So I figured we would take a look at this and break down what they say and kind of contradict it with what we may think a little bit and kind of compare the two. Coach, we're going to start it off with the New Orleans Saints. 13-3 a year ago, they won this division. And, Coach, obviously the biggest questions for them is, can the Saints get the most out of Drew Brees this year? Obviously, he's going to be lacking a little bit the receiver position as far as help goes. But, Coach, you got to expect the Saints to still be the class of this division, coming in 13-3 last year, like I said, winning it last year. You look at the Panthers. We don't know if Cam Newton's even going to be playing for Carolina. We're not sure what we're going to see with Atlanta. And then, of course, Tampa Bay, Coach, first year with Bruce Arians as their head coach. They still have Jameis Winston as their quarterback. So you got to think the Saints are the top team in that division.
Well, I do right now as we sit here today and we're talking about it. But I'll tell you, this is going to be an interesting battle between them and Atlanta. It's going to be head-to-head, and go right down to the wire, I think. Outstanding quarterback. If anybody doubts Drew Brees, what's with you? I mean, my gosh. The guy is, they say, well, he's 40 years old. His talents are diminishing. I didn't see that. I mean, he took a football team, should have gone to the Super Bowl last year, and played against another 41-year-old quarterback. So I can't see that. I think they said, well, will this be Drew Brees last year? I doubt it. I doubt it very seriously. And if he comes back, he'll be an very effective quarterback. I think I didn't care too much for their draft, quite honestly. But some people did. Some people thought they did okay. But the best I can get information, Jordan, is that Eric McCoy, the big offensive lineman from Texas A&M, is a 50-50 make it or not make it type guy. He's not a sure shot by any stretch. In fact, there's some question marks on him. This Chancey Gardner-Johnson, the defensive back from Florida, there were some questions about him. So there's the second and fourth round pick, and then it's after that it's 1 6th and 2 7th round picks. So I don't think they helped themselves in the draft. I really don't. I think they maybe brought in a couple of people during the free agent season. But I really think we're looking at the same team that we saw last year. Now, that's a good football team, but you cannot stay still. It's not like riding a bicycle where you ride it one time and you know how to ride it forever. You're either going to get better or you're going to get worse. One of those two. It's not going to be stay the same and have the same results as you did. It's not. That doesn't happen that way. You got to get better or worse. Now, I think it's going to be tough for them to get better. They could, because they have such leadership in Drew Brees, and they got a good coaching staff, and they do a good job with them. So there's a chance they could get better. The thing that I'm concerned about for him is they didn't help that receiving corps. He's got one guy over there that's carrying the load like you can't believe. What's his name? Adams. Other than that, what are they doing now? They brought in another tight end, but I think he's no more than a good journeyman.
Right.
So
yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. I've got some question marks about the Saints right now.
All right, Coach, and then a team that will be looking to improve. Like you said, there's no kind of staying complacent. You either get worse or get better. A team that will be looking to get better, a lot better, actually. It's the Atlanta Falcons. They were 7-9 a year ago. Coach needed some help on the offensive line, and that's exactly what they went out and got in the first round when they drafted Chris Lindstrom. Coach, they're looking to protect Matt Ryan a little bit, help him find those weapons, because they have those weapons in Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones. And, Coach, if Matt Ryan and this offense can get going, this Atlanta Falcons team expects to be a team, at least on paper, that can challenge New Orleans a little bit inside this division.
Oh, I don't think there's any question about that. In fact, just right now on paper, with what they did to shore up that offensive line, and I like the big tackle they got too from Washington. He's a good football player. They really helped themselves up front. Now that was a key, because they have to keep like they had 42 sacks last year. They've got to keep Ryan. If they can keep him standing up, he's going to hurt a lot of people. They're a good football team with a lot of talent, and they brought on a late round draft pick that's going to end up being another depth situation for them at the running back position. So Atlanta's loaded with especially offensive talent. I hope that they're going to be able to really shore up their defense, and I think that probably is going to be the case. Their head coach is a defensive coordinator, and I think he has determined to spend more time with the defense, and I think he'll do a good job over there. Now they're bringing Dirk Cutter back as offensive coordinator. He worked well with Ryan. They had a good rapport, and so I really expect to see the offense improve. I've got some real doubts about right now Sarkisian, even though Saban hired him back at Alabama, so we'll see what happens there. But I think Saban has a lot to do with offense and defense there. But anyway, it's an interesting puzzle right now. But I think you put it all together. Atlanta, great talent. Atlanta, better offensive line. They're going to be much better up there. They got Dirk Cutter coming back as the offensive coordinator. and they've got a good track record with he and Ryan together. So, you put it all together, I think you got to maybe even look at them as being the favorite right now.
All right, Coach, and our next team on this list of the NFC South, the Carolina Panthers. Coach, you take a look at this team. Not quite sure what's going to happen with Cam Newton from a year ago. This is a team that went 7-9 just like Atlanta did. But, Coach, this is a team, again, you don't really know what you're going to have at the quarterback position. They drafted Will Grier, yes, but if they have him in there playing as the starting quarterback this year, something has gone drastically wrong with Cam Newton and his process of trying to get back after that shoulder injury. So, Coach, Carolina could be in for a little bit of a tough season inside the NFL.
They could be, and keep in mind, now he's had 2 surgeries on that shoulder.
That's right.
So something happened after the first surgery. It wasn't repaired properly, or he did something too quick, didn't do rehab as he should. Something, anyway, just didn't happen the way it was supposed to. So he had to have a second surgery. Now, that's a bad omen right there, number one. I think they're obviously going to have to put him on a pitch count, which, by the way, I think they need to do with Drew Brees and New Orleans, because he's the type of guy who'll stand out there and throw all day. And he's at the age now where they really should pitch count him every day, especially in training camp. I wouldn't even let him throw in the mornings.
Right.
Just throw in the afternoon session and pitch count him on that. This the same is going to be true in Carolina, because they've got to keep whatever happened to that shoulder. They've got to go to extremes to make sure it's not he's not down again with that shoulder, because that could very easily happen. I don't think they helped themselves all that much. They've had some turnover there, some change. They had they've had some losses. I think they lost Julius Peppers to retirement, and I'm just not sure how, because they picked up. Did they pick up McCoy?
They did.
Yes, they did.
Yes.
I think that's going to help them. But whether it's the same leadership that they got from Peppers, I don't know. Anyway, it's going to be debatable as to whether they get any better, and you could end up seeing the young drafted quarterback, Will Grier, playing this year, some at Carolina.
All right, Coach. And finally, as far as the NFC South goes, we've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Coach, they do bring in Ndamukong Suh. They've also got Shaquille Barrett, Brashard Perryman, Devin White, Bradley Finan, and, of course, Deion Buchanan, all coming in this year as new key pieces to the team. But, Coach, I think you have a new year head coach in Bruce Arians coming back to the head coaching ranks, taking over this team. Coach, to me, I still say that with Jameis Winston as the starting quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it is going to be a long season for them. I just don't see Jameis Winston being a good fit in Tampa. I'm not saying Jameis couldn't be a fit somewhere inside the NFL, but I think with that Bruce Arians system inside Tampa, it's going to be interesting to see. I may be wrong on this, but Coach, I think Tampa might be in for a little bit of a long year this year.
No, I agree with you. I think it's going to be very dicey, say the least, and I'm interested to see what type offense Arians goes with there in Tampa. Now he's got with the quarterback situation and with losing McCoy, I think that was, according to people I've talked to, Jordan, this is an interesting factor. They can't believe that Tampa let McCoy get out of there. Now, I don't know all that much about McCoy. I know he was a heck of a draftee when they drafted him. He's a big inside player, and he's played well. He's played well at that defensive tackle position. But the people I've talked to said, big mistake letting McCoy get out of there. So we'll see what happens there. How much did they help themselves? With the draft, I think that's debatable. Most of what they did was certainly up front. Their defensive players, Jordan. They it's going to be interesting to see. And I think in Devin White, the linebacker they got from LSU, he can certainly run with anybody. I'm not sure about then they got these two defensive backs, Bunning from Central Michigan and Dean from Auburn. Nothing great to report on either one of them, to be honest. I don't see anything on here that would make me think they have really helped themselves with the draft. I think Devin White is obviously going to be a good linebacker. So I think they drag up the rear in that division.
All right, Coach. Well, on that note, we're going to take our first time out of the show. Before we do, though, we will keep you updated, obviously, with the weather last night in Omaha, some College World Series games going on right now. Auburn and Louisville picking their game back up. Right now, in the top of the eighth inning, Louisville does have a 5-2 lead in that elimination game. The loser will go home. The winner will advance. So we'll continue to keep you up to date throughout the show on that. But like I said, we're going to take our first time out of the show. When we come back, more Talk Football with Coach K coming up next right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
All right, it's time for some straight talk. You wouldn't pay $100 for seats to a baseball game when you can get the same seats for $50. So why pay more on your wireless when you can get the same 4G LTE networks for up to half the cost? For $45 a month, get our unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data from Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, only at Walmart.
Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
The weather's heating up, which means it's the perfect time to get that next job done. At AutoZone, we have the free services you need to do it right. Like our free AutoZone Fix Finder service. If your check engine light is on, our Fix Finder service will help troubleshoot the likely issue. And if you want a repair shop to help with the job, we know some of the best ones around. Getting the job done just got easier. Let us help you at more than 5,600 locations nationwide. Restrictions and details in store.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Don't drop the ball this football season. Make Tom Thumb your game day destination. We are your first round pick for snacks, chips, dips, and drinks. Are you tailgating before the game? Don't get blindsided. Head to Tom Thumb for all your supplies. Score big savings with our rewards card. You'll earn 4 fuel points for every dollar spent in store. From hot dogs and buns to ice and propane, Tom Thumb has you covered to help you enjoy the game. For the ultimate game day, team up with Tom Thumb, the local store for local champions.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming on our website, ESPNpensacola.com. If you want to be a part of today's show, you can text or call to the studio line, 850-972-1945. Again, it's 850-972-1945. Also checking in on Louisville and Auburn right now in the College World Series. The Cardinals have a 5-2 lead over the Tigers in the top of the 8th inning. 2 outs, runner on with Louisville at the plate, so we'll continue to keep you up to date on that. But let's get back into the football right here. As again, I am Jordan Glass, joined alongside me as always, Coach K. And Coach, something we promised on Friday that we would do at some point this week is take a look at Iowa State's record their upcoming schedule for 2019, because we were taking a look at this, and Iowa State is a team that a lot of people are having a lot of respect for Iowa State heading into the 2019 season. And when we were taking a look at the national rankings position by position on Friday of last week, we really were starting to see Iowa State is returning all offensive linemen. They're returning all defensive linemen, and they really have their 2 anchors on both sides of the defense coming back there, with both lines being at full strength from what they were a year ago. So, Coach, really want to kind of break down their record and go through it game by game here. And, of course, we'll start it off, Coach. August 31st, they'll get it started at Jack Trice Stadium in Ames, Iowa. It's a home game for them as they welcome in Northern Iowa. The Panthers coming in to take on the Cyclones.
Yeah, and a good opening game for them, but everything we hear, they should win it. Now, the two things that I've heard, one you just mentioned, they've got an awful lot of kids coming back. And they had a pretty good year last year. They didn't have a bad year. They beat some people, and they played tough. Plus, what I'm hearing is the pro scouts like their coaching staff. They said they got a good coaching staff. They teach these kids well. And so that's why the excitement about the Iowa State football team. Got a lot of people coming back. They've played well. They've got momentum, confidence, and they got a good coaching staff. So you put all that together, Jordan, you got a pretty good situation.
No, Coach, and this is a team last year, like you talked about. I pulled up their last year's schedule real quick. Only lost to Oklahoma by 10. That was a very close game at home for them. They did knock off West Virginia. They beat Oklahoma State. Texas Tech, they lost by 14 to Texas. And then, of course, they beat a very good Washington State team in the Alamo Dome there on December 28th as well. So, Coach, they played close to that team. So, a good year last year, and they were able to build on a lot of that. And like you said, with a lot of teams coming back, that Northern Iowa game on August 31st, you expect to be a fairly easy game for them. They'll go into a bye week on September 7th before staying home, I should say, to take on the Iowa Hawkeyes on September 14th.
Wow, what a battle that's going to be! A big rivalry, and it'll mean so much to them. They're at home in that ball game.
They are.
Let's give it to Iowa State. Everything we're hearing is positive. So huge game. They've got all season to aim for it. They can certainly aim for that game. They've got a bye week before that. I would think that game is set up perfectly. Certainly being at home, that game is set up perfectly for Iowa State.
All right, Coach. So the next game coming up, they'll stay once again at home at Jack Trice Stadium. They'll welcome in Louisiana Monroe, the Warhawks, coming in to take on the Cyclones.
And that's a good game to have after Iowa. They, not that they're going to be a real pushover, and they'll give them a little trouble early, but they'll win that ball game. Iowa State will win that ball game.
All right, Coach. 3-0 on the year so far as they head on the road for the first game of the year. On the road, they're going to McLean Stadium in Waco to take on the Baylor Bears.
Woo! I better get ready for that one. That's going to be a tough one. I just think Iowa State's got too much coming back. Baylor, I'm not sure of.
All right, Coach. Then they'll head back home to Jack Trice Stadium and welcome in TCU, the Horned Frogs.
TCU's been down for about 2 or 3 years, and which is unusual because they've got a good program down there, and they've been able to get some really good football players. But Iowa State's going to be at home. A lot of momentum. Good football team. Let's give it to them at home.
All right, Coach. That puts them at 5-0 as they head to Mountaineer Field in Morgantown, West Virginia, looking to exact some revenge on that loss from a year ago.
Yeah, well, they may be still looking this time next year too, because West Virginia is going to have a new coach, a new quarterback. Iowa State's going to be a better football team than West Virginia this year. West Virginia historically is a peaks and valley type program, and I think that's one reason Overson saw a chance to get out of there and went to Houston. I could understand why he'd go to Houston over West Virginia, but maybe he saw something coming. Anyway, give Iowa State a win there.
All right, Coach. Then they'll stay on the road for October 19th. They'll head to Lubbock, Texas. Again, another team inside the Big 12 that's bringing in a new head coach. You got the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
Yeah, new head coach there, and some other question marks. Give Iowa State another win on the road.
All right, Coach. That is going to put them 7-0 on the year, off to a heck of a great start. They'll head back home to Jack Trice Stadium in Ames. And Coach, this is going to be a tough team. Mike Gundy and the Oklahoma State Cowboys and that high-powered offense they have coming in. This is going to be homecoming for Iowa State, so a tough Big 12 game for them there at home for homecoming.
Well, I'd say if they played this on the road against Iowa State, I'd have to say Iowa State wins this game. But you gotta look at the streak that they're on right now, the momentum. Homecoming, playing at home. Too much going on there. You got to, as they squeak one out. Now, this will be a huge win for them here. Not only record, but confidence-wise as well.
Absolutely, Coach. And as record-wise, that would definitely move them to 8-0 on the year. They'll head into their second and final bye week of the year on November 2nd. Before, Coach, this is the next two games for them on their schedule if they are 8-0 at this point in the year. Massive games on their schedule coming up November 9th, coming off of a bye week, heading to Norman, Oklahoma to take on the Sooners.
Well, we like Iowa State, and we've been giving them the doubt on many things here, but I don't think we can here. I think going into Norman, Oklahoma's just too much tradition, too much depth, too many talented players that for Iowa State to compete with them.
All right, Coach, and then they'll head back home to Jack Trice Stadium to welcome in the Texas Longhorns.
I think here again it's going to be the same as Oklahoma, unfortunately, for Iowa State. They're good, and they've reached a certain plateau that really few teams get to, but they're just not good enough yet to get over that hump. They can't be in the same category with Oklahoma and Texas right yet. And I don't know that they can with the situation that they're facing there, from everything from recruiting to facilities to money, all of that. How in the world can you duplicate what Texas and Oklahoma have?
Right. Yeah.
It's just very, very tough to do. And if you can't do that, common sense would tell you that it's going to be very difficult for you to recruit the same type players. So at any rate, long story short, I don't think they can overtake Texas at this point.
All right, Coach, and they'll put them at 8-2 on the year. Still a great season so far for the Cyclones. They'll wrap it up their last two games of the regular season. November 23rd, they'll be at home taking on Kansas. The Jayhawks coming in. Coach, you got to think this is a game that gets them, after two straight losses on the road to Oklahoma and then back home against Texas. This game against Kansas got to get them back on track.
Oh, I think so. I really do. And it's a good game to have right there.
All right, Coach, and then we'll close out the year on the road at Bill Snyder Family Stadium in Manhattan, taking on the Kansas State Wildcats. That game's coming up November 30th.
Yeah, well, Kansas State, I love that program too. The way they've been able to play against better football teams over the years is just amazing. But I think Iowa State has their time in the sun, and Kansas State's down right now, and not a good time to be down. Facing this Iowa State team. So Iowa State finishes it off with a great record, I think, and they win every game, maybe one or two they'll get into a real tussle with and have a tight outcome, but they win them, but they lose to the two that I just don't think they can overcome.
All right, Coach, and you take a look at it, 10-2 on the year. Not a bad year for the Iowa State Cyclones. Coach, I want to go back to November 9th, though, that game on the road in Norman against Oklahoma. Jalen Hurts is going to be the quarterback for the Sooners. Iowa State has a tendency of being that giant killer to where if a team is ranked inside the top 10 and has everything moving forward for them, we saw it last year with West Virginia. We've seen it the past couple of years where they just always seem to have that national powerhouse's number, and they always pull off a win, whether it's on the road or at home. Coach, do you think with Jalen Hurts at quarterback, there is the possibility for Iowa State to go into Norman and beat Oklahoma and upset them and help their schedule immensely? Because you got to think right now their only losses we have are on the road at Oklahoma and then at home against Texas, and those are back-to-back weeks. Coach, if they were able to pull off one of those, that would be huge for them.
Well, there's no doubt about that, and listen, you're right. And the one thing that Oklahoma is going to have to be very aware of and cautious in their approach to the season, they don't have one of the last two quarterbacks that they had who could bail them out with big plays in the passing game. That's probably not going to happen. Jalen Hurts, and I love the kid, but he is he's primarily a runner. Now, he's been in a lot of big ball games, so he's not going to be intimidated by playing a big game. But you're right. Your premise is right that they could easily knock off one of those two, and Oklahoma may be the easier one to knock off because if they get ahead, if Iowa State should get ahead, and Oklahoma has to utilize the passing game to come back, they could be in a little trouble.
All right, Coach, we're going to take a quick timeout. It's our second time out of the show. We'll take that when we come back. More Talk Football with Coach K coming up next right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
At Indeed, we believe a resume is a great way to see an overview of a candidate, but you're not hiring a resume, you're hiring a person. That's why Indeed offers tools that help bridge the gap between a candidate and the resume, like skill tests, which let you actually see a candidate's abilities in action to make sure they're a good fit for the job. See beyond the resume with Indeed. Experience Indeed for yourself today and get a free sponsored job upgrade on your first posting at Indeed.com/promo. Terms and conditions apply.
No matter what team or sport you love, connect with it all on SiriusXM. Hear ESPNU and more in your car, on your phone, and at home when you subscribe now with packages starting at $5 per month plus fees. Get closer to every major league with play-by-play, expert analysis, and even fantasy sports coverage. Plus, ad-free music, comedy, entertainment, news, and more. Connect with what matters on SiriusXM. Visit SiriusXM.com/listenESPN to learn more and subscribe. Channel lineup varies by package.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming on our website, ESPNpensacola.com. Welcome back into Talk Football with Coach K. I'm Jordan Glass, joined alongside me as always, Coach K. And as we get back into today's show, we want to say once again, just if you want to tune in and maybe you missed something, you can go catch it on our podcast. We've got Jack Youngblood, the interview from earlier this week, on there. Coach, we're actually going to be joined by a very special guest coming up on tomorrow's show as well, and we can go ahead and let our listeners know who that is so they can maybe plan out their lunch break so they can listen, and if for whatever reason they miss it, they can catch it on the podcast as well.
Yeah, I think he's one of the most amazing stories in football, and that's Jim Kelly. You know, what he's been through, he should have been dead a couple of times with the disease that he had, the cancer that he had, and he's been through it. He's now, again, back with his family. He's had 2 or 3 times he's had to go back in and out of the hospital. Great guy, great quarterback, one of the toughest you've ever seen. And just a super guy. Has a good feel for football and keeps his finger on the pulse of football, so it should be a very interesting conversation with Jim.
All right, Coach. Yeah, that's coming up tomorrow right here on Talk Football with Coach K, and it is going to be a lot of fun. Coach, I want to stay in college now because, if you were tuning in before the break, we were taking a look at Iowa State's schedule and predicting that game by game. Wanted to update you real quick on the College World Series. Looks like we're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Auburn has 2 outs with the bases loaded. They are down 5-2 to Louisville right now. So Auburn trying to put together a little bit of a rally. We'll continue to keep you up to date on that. That is actually the pickup from the game that was suspended due to weather from last night. So again, we'll just keep you up to date on that throughout the game. But Coach, want to get back into college football here, and ESPN on their college football page has ranked the top toughest 2019 non-conference schedules. Coach, want to kind of go through here and take a look at these and see which one you think are pretty tough. And starting off with the number 1 team that they have here, they have Stanford. The Cardinals will play Northwestern on August 31st. That is always a tough game. Usually a little tougher to play Northwestern in Northwestern. Stanford got a little lucky with having to play them in Stanford, so Northwestern's going to have to make that long trip across country for that game. But then on September 14th, just a couple of weeks later, Coach, they have to go to Orlando to take on Central Florida before wrapping up the season November 30th against Notre Dame. Coach, you look at it, you couple that with the fact that they're playing inside the Pac-12. Pac-12 not exactly a heavyweight when it comes to the Power 5 conferences, but this out-of-conference schedule, Coach, with Northwestern, UCF, and Notre Dame, it's pretty tough.
Yeah, pretty tough, but I think pretty is the operative word there, meaning not as tough as some others. It's not a bad schedule, I don't think. I think Stanford should be able to handle that, and it's spread pretty well. You know, before we get too far away from Iowa State, it may interest our fans out there. We've given a couple of reasons why, a little insight into their program. Number of people coming back, the coaching being of an outstanding quality, some tough, good kids there. It's of interest, to me, that their quarterback was a freshman last year, Brock Purdy. Now, he came in, they were 1-3 when he came on the scene last year. The starting quarterback got hurt, out for the year. This kid comes in and runs the table. Pretty much runs the table. So they've got a jewel there, and this kid, you know what happens between year 1, year 2 most of the time, and now he's got a real feel for college football. So there's another huge reason they've got one real good pass rusher who's going to be a top NFL prospect in Jaquan Bailey. But not too often do you hear of Iowa State people, but you might want to keep an ear out for their quarterback, Brock Purdy, and Jaquan Bailey, the rush guy. Iowa State, it's interesting that I'm glad we went through their schedule, which gives you a pretty good idea of where they could end up. And we'll go back to your, but I'm not overly impressed with Stanford's problem.
And Iowa State's schedule, Coach, getting back to it, now that we've gone over it here and we've gone game by game, it is actually a very impressive schedule, a very favorable schedule for Iowa State. Like I said, having Oklahoma and Texas back-to-back weeks, and then I think you look at the landscape of the rest of the teams inside the Big 12, where West Virginia is bringing in a new head coach and a new quarterback. You've got the same situation happening in Texas Tech. You're not quite sure what you're going to get from a team like Oklahoma State. Really, Coach, if they can find a way to get one of those two games back-to-back weeks right there towards the end of the season against Oklahoma and Texas, and you got to think at that point in the year they're going to be playing really good football and they're going to be improved from the start of the year, it gives them an opportunity with the schedule the way it's set up for them.
You're right. You're exactly right. And we could well see listen, it's not out of the realm based on what we're possibly looking at here. And we use that word certainly possible only. We're not saying it in any way do we think it's going to happen. But, there's even outside possibility these guys could be in the championship chase there.
Absolutely, yeah.
Sweepstakes, so... Anyway, don't want to get too far overboard on them, but based on what we're looking at here, if things fall a certain way, what a story, what a college football story this would be for this 2019 season.
All right, Coach, want to take a look at some more of these ranked ESPN toughest non-conference schedule. And, Coach, they've got Florida State on here, and, you look at the way that the year's gone for Florida State, a couple of these games on this list are going to be very tough for them. Their non-conference schedule is going to be Boise State in Jacksonville on August 31st. They'll have Louisiana Monroe at Doak Campbell Stadium on September 7th. And then, of course, November 16th, Alabama State will come to Doak Campbell Stadium. And November 30th, they'll head to the Swamp to take on their in-state rival Florida Gators on November 30th. And, Coach, you take a look at this, those bookend games right there, August 31st against Boise State, November 30th at Florida. You take a listen to a lot of people that talk about Florida State and the upcoming season for them and are kind of projecting like we do here when we take a look at team schedules. Coach, you look at the Boise State game and the Florida game, several people out there, more people do than don't have those as losses for them on the 2019 season.
Well, I think that's justifiable. I'm not. You talk about not being impressed with the schedule. How would you like to be at Alabama or Texas A&M or somewhere like that and say boys, you're going to have to go. You have to go play those tough Boise State kids, and you got to play those tough Alabama State kids, and you got to play Northwest Louisiana kids. Buckle up. Shoot. They just say, "Oh, please don't throw me in that briar patch." So that I'm not impressed with that schedule at all.
All right, Coach. How about we take a look now coming up? You mentioned Texas A&M, and they are actually on the next team we're going to look at here. It's the Clemson Tigers non-conference non-conference schedule for 2019. Coach, September 7th, they will be taking on Texas A&M just like they did last year. This year, though, they'll be taking on them in Clemson, so that is going to be a help for them. They also take on Charlotte on the 21st of September, Wofford on the 2nd of November, and then, of course, another SEC opponent, South Carolina, on the 30th of November. But, Coach, outside of Texas A&M, not much to challenge the Tigers there for Clemson on their non-conference schedule. If they're going to face any kind of issues this year, it's going to be against a team maybe like a Syracuse or somebody like that in conference that's going to give them a tough test.
Yeah, they're going to Syracuse. That's an in-conference game, and you're right. That could they could give them a problem. They did last year, and also out of conference, Texas A&M. Obviously, we've talked about, and don't be too quick to move by South Carolina, because for South Carolina, this is like a Super Bowl for them. By the way, where is that game? Where is that South Carolina
that is
game?
going to be in Columbia, so it's a home game for South Carolina.
Oh, well, better be careful there. Yeah.
All right, Coach. Well, I tell you what, we're going to take our final time out of the show. When we come back, we'll take a look at a couple of more of these non-conference schedules for 2019 when we come back right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
There's only one place in town for the lowest prices and greatest selection of firearms. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Visit our fully stocked Gun Pro Shop for new and used firearms, accessories, and ammunition. Check out the Indoor Shooting Range. We offer rentals on guns, including fully automatic machine guns and silencers. Ladies, this is the safe place to learn how to use a gun. Plus, Tuesday is Ladies' Day. Women shoot for half price all day. The best place to buy firearms in Pensacola. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Highway 29 in Car City.
Hi, Buster Olney here, and my friends at Marathon are really helping you save because right now you can get 5 cents off every gallon every day with Make It Count rewards from Marathon. Plus, you can earn points for additional savings on fuel, airfare, hotels, and more. It's quick and easy to join. Just visit makeitcount.com/radio or download the free app. So start saving today with Make It Count from Marathon. Offer valid only at participating Marathon locations. Marathon, fueling the American spirit.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck, Bentley. That was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Don't drop the ball this football season. Make Tom Thumb your game day destination. We are your first round pick for snacks, chips, dips, and drinks. Are you tailgating before the game? Don't get blindsided. Head to Tom Thumb for all your supplies. Score big savings with our rewards card. You'll earn 4 fuel points for every $1 spent in store. From hot dogs and buns to ice and propane, Tom Thumb has you covered to help you enjoy the game. For the ultimate game day, team up with Tom Thumb, the local store for local champions.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming on our website, ESPNpensacola.com. Welcome back into Talk Football with Coach K. I'm Jordan Glass, joined alongside me as always, Coach K, and picking up where we left off, taking a look at some of these teams in the non-conference schedule. And Coach, I think we're kind of starting to see, the more we take a look at these schedules out of conference, I think we're starting to see why more people are getting excited about the Florida-Texas matchups, the Florida State-Alabama matchups, the Georgia-Clemson matchups that we'll see in the future of college football. Because, Coach, really, when you look at out-of-conference schedules, it is few and far between as far as good matchups between non-conference opponents. Taking case Georgia, September 7th, Coach, they'll welcome in Murray Stadium to Sanford Stadium, or Murray State into Sanford Stadium, I should say. September 14th, Arkansas State will come into Sanford Stadium. They'll have Notre Dame on September 21st. That's going to be a good one. And then, of course, November 30th, their annual rivalry game with Georgia Tech.
Yeah, those first two are obviously what you would think. They're get people ready, get some depth, and give people a chance to play and get a win, put a win on their record. Notre Dame would be a good game for them, be a game of interest. They're in Georgia, and they won a big one, last year up at South Bend. And then you got always the game with Georgia Tech is tough. Now, it's not going to be quite as tough this year because they've got a change in coaches, and they don't have to try to get ready for that wishbone of Coach Johnson. So Georgia, I don't know. They got Notre Dame really, and they should should fare really well on the other three.
All right, Coach. How about a team like Purdue here? I think it was really big for them in the offseason that they were able to keep a guy like Jeff Brom as their head coach. But then you take a look at the rest of this team, Coach, and this is a team that we're not quite really sure what we're going to get from Purdue this year. And you look at their non-conference schedule. This is actually, as far as this list goes, Coach, that ESPN has compiled, which, by the way, you can go and check out over at ESPN.com/collegefootball. You can find the rankings for it there. Coach, this is actually one of the tougher ones on the list. On a Friday game to get the season started, August 30th, they'll actually head to Nevada. And then September 7th, they have Vanderbilt at home, and then obviously TCU at home on September 14th. So Vanderbilt and TCU in back-to-back weeks. And they also start the game on the road against Nevada. Coach, while Nevada's not going to be a championship contending team, still could be a team that gives Purdue a little bit trouble early on in the year in week one. And then, Coach, obviously you've got an SEC and a Big 12 opponent right there in back-to-back weeks later in September.
Yeah, and those two games are going to be difficult for them, especially Vanderbilt, I think. Vanderbilt is not a good team to try to invite in and get a win on. They play tough, hard-nosed football. So if they don't do anything else, they reduce your football team for the following game.
All right, Coach, and let's take a look here. Michigan is another team that is on this list, and outside of a game on October 26th against Notre Dame, they also have Middle Tennessee and Army. Coach, I think a lot of people will look at this and go, well, that looks to be fairly easy outside of that Notre Dame game. But, Coach, don't sleep on Middle Tennessee or Army after the year the Knights had last year.
Better not sleep on Army. I'm not sure what they've got coming back, but I do know one thing. They were a top-flight football team, better football team than most anybody would have recognized. That's for sure. I thought they were one of the most disciplined teams I've seen in a long, long time. But anyway, they should beware of the Black Knights of the Hudson. They're a good football team.
All right, Coach, how about our final team to talk about today, UCLA, their non-conference game, getting it started on a Thursday, August 29th, on the road against Cincinnati, then September 7th against San Diego State, and September 14th against Oklahoma. Coach Chip Kelly struggled in year one, big time with UCLA. That is not an easy non-conference schedule for a team that struggled the way they did last year.
No, you're right. And, of course, Oklahoma is going to be very, very difficult for them, as will San Diego State. They should come back this year and have a much better year. Don't know a lot about them, but I have heard some people say that they're going to be a better football team this year.
Oh.
So UCLA better be ready for that one, especially Oklahoma.
All right, Coach, and UCLA's got some locker room trouble as some players made some comments about just Chip Kelly's demeanor towards the players, so that could play into effect with them on the 2019 season as well. Once again, checking in with Louisville, they are up 5-3, bottom of the ninth with 2 outs. Auburn down to their final out in that game. Thank you so much for tuning to Talk Football. For Coach K, I'm Jordan Glass. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.